Welcome to Session 12. The colonists who govern themselves now collide with Britain. Today we trace how a tax dispute grew into a revolution, and how 13 colonies won their independence. By the end, you'll be able to explain the causes of the revolution, trace the key events from protest to war, identify the turning points, and explain the Treaty of Paris. After the French and Indian War, Britain was deeply in debt and decided the colonies should help pay. That set off a decade of escalating conflict. In 1765, the Stamp Act became the first direct tax on the colonists. Tension grew. In 1770, British soldiers fired into a crowd in the Boston Massacre. In 1773, colonists dumped British tea into the harbor at the Boston Tea Party. Britain punished Boston with the Intolerable Acts, which only united the colonies against it. Then, in 1775, came Lexington and Concord, the first shots of the war, the shot heard around the world. At the heart of it all was a principle: no taxation without representation. Colonists argued Parliament could not tax them because they had no elected representatives in it. This was Locke's consent of the governed, applied directly. After the fighting began, the Second Continental Congress became the colony's government. It created the Continental Army and named George Washington its commander. And in 1776, Thomas Paine's pamphlet, Common Sense, argued in plain language that independence was the only sensible path. It sold 500,000 copies and swung public opinion decisively toward breaking away. A few people shaped the revolution above all others. George Washington held the army together through years of hardship. Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. Benjamin Franklin, as a diplomat in Paris, secured the alliance with France that won the war. And Thomas Paine rallied ordinary people with common sense. And one name became a byword for betrayal: Benedict Arnold, an American general who defected to the British. To this day, calling someone a Benedict Arnold means calling them a traitor. The war dragged on for 8 years against the world's strongest military. Early on, Washington's surprise victory at Trenton, after crossing the icy Delaware on Christmas night, gave the army desperately needed morale. Then the great turning point, Saratoga, in 1777. This American victory finally convinced France to join the war as an ally, bringing troops, money, and a navy. The army survived the brutal winter at Valley Forge. And finally, at Yorktown in 1781, Washington and the French trapped Cornwallis, who surrendered, ending the war. Without France, that victory would not have been possible. The war ended officially with the Treaty of Paris, signed in 1783, and negotiated by Franklin, Adams, and Jay. Most importantly, Britain formally recognized American independence. And the treaty was a stunning windfall. It set the new nation's western border at the Mississippi River, roughly doubling the territory the colonists had before the war. Britain also agreed to pull its troops off American soil. That huge territory east of the Mississippi set the stage for the westward expansion of the next session. Let's test it. Saratoga is called the turning point of the revolution. Why was it so decisive beyond the battle itself? Pause and choose. The answer is A. Saratoga proved the colonists could win, which convinced France to enter the war as an ally, bringing the troops, money, and navy that decided the outcome. France had hesitated, waiting to see if the colonists could actually win. Saratoga was the proof, and the French alliance that followed made the final victory at Yorktown possible. Let's recap Session 12. British taxes after 1763 sparked colonial protest, captured in the slogan, "No taxation without representation." Paine's common sense pushed opinion toward independence. The Battle of Saratoga brought France into the war, and Yorktown ended it, and the Treaty of Paris won both recognized independence and a vast territory stretching to the Mississippi River.